Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Manhattan Community Board 11th Public Safety and Transportation Committee, January the 16th, 2025. It is now 6:37. I am the chair of this committee. My name is Michelle Wilshire Clement. And before we get started, Happy New Year, everyone. And there are some rules and regulations that I will read off beforehand. The ground rules are that no one may speak until granted the floor, CB11 members. If you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. And upon here and saying ground rules, can you please do the roll call? Khalid Nixon will be our staff liaison for this evening.
Okay, members, so just for your information, there are 11 members on this committee, 6 are needed for quorum. Jose Altamirano, Carlos Diaz, Pascal Canal has asked to be excused. Wanda Hopkins,
Looks like she just had her hand raised.
right.
He's in the attendees list.
Wanda, 1 sec, I'll promote you. Wanda, can you just confirm your attendance for me, please?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Christina Johnson is excused.
No.
Jewel Jones. Sorry, just gonna mute you, Wanda. Sage Mason.
Present.
Claudia Perez. Valerie Ponson.
Present.
Don Sanders.
Present.
And Michelle Lozar Clement.
Present. Claudia, Carlos Diaz and Jill Jones they are coming from Metropolitan.
Okay, well, you only
So
have,
they're slightly delayed.
you have, and now you will need 1 more actually. You have to go to recess.
I don't know if everyone heard that because person short, we will go into a 15-minute recess at that time, give or take 5 minutes. And that time will start now. And that time will start now. Can you put a 20-minute on there, Sage?
I can do it on my phone.
That's, yeah. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We had to make sure that we had quorum and we do. Do we need to make another roll call?
Yes.
Colleague Nixon, can you please?
Yes. Jose Altamirano. Absent. Carlos Diaz. Absent. Pascal Hanel excused. Wanda Hopkins. Wanda.
Political basket.
She was there
She
before.
was there before, so we'll circle back. All right. Christina Johnson excused. Jewel Jones absent. Sage Mason.
Present.
Thank you. Claudia Perez.
Present.
Valerie Ponce. Present. Thank you. Don Sanders.
Present.
Thank you. Michelle will
Hey,
start.
Wanda, this is Sage Mason.
Present.
And just want to circle back
Okay.
for
Cool, she's signing back. Okay. Cool, thank you.
Maybe she's just booted or something. Yeah.
Are we recording this?
Yes,
Yes, we still are recording because we're in the midst of roll call. Yes.
so we are waiting for a member to re-sign back on. She was bumped off. And when she steps back on and the roll call is finished, we can continue because then we will have quorum. Please be patient with us. You're abiding by the rules and regulations. You are not hearing anything at the present moment because we do not have quorum yet. So we're waiting for that one member to sign back in because she was bounced off.
It says here, person to legal.
However, if it is a question that is dealing with
Yeah.
anything that's on the agenda right
No.
now, we are unable to because
About the disability for qualifying skill.
I still think that we cannot go on any sort of conversation because
Okay, what's the motion?
we don't have quorum.
Well, it
This
says,
is not an agenda.
it
Really.
says section 292 of the new executive, but it doesn't say right. There's a section that doesn't say, no,
Of the New York State Statute. Section 292 of the New York. And basically-
it's trying to see, could move it along, please.
I understand, but, yeah, having half plus one of the members present with us is what moves this meeting along. And keep in mind, we're still, it's not muted and we're still being recorded, just FYI.
Can you call her again in front of it?
Thanks. Hey, are you still trying to log in? Okay,
I'm trying. I'm going away yet.
we're not going anywhere. We're waiting for you on it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Thank you guys for being patient.
I mean, I think it's better than going through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Detective Miguel Rivera says he's signing off, he'll be sending, the stats for us later.
Okay.
Thank you, Detective.
Thank you, Detective. I apologize for the delay. And thank you for coming.
He's somebody I would have liked to have heard from. We've had a lot of incidents.
Right. Well, you know, the liaisons for our precincts, they always say if you have any questions, just send them over. So if you have like any questions, I'd be happy to try to connect them with you if you'd like.
And you took the reverse from the two-third precinct.
What's the northern border of the two-third?
Don't think one might be thinking. I'm not exactly sure.
And you mean the exact jurisdiction.
It's actually in 115
115, thank you.
until you get to Pleasant Ave. Where it goes south, because 115th Avenue.
So the two shootings that occurred like, a week and a half ago would have all been in the two-third. On 112th Street and on 115th Street.
Is it north or south? Where does it end?
See one though.
Beautiful. So we have quorum.
I wonder, can you confirm your attendance, please?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about that. I got cut off. I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're here, and because we have quorum, I would like to ask, would we like to make an adoption for the January 2025 agenda? Silence equals yes. I will move on to the adoption of the December 2024 minutes. Silence equals yes again.
Just say, if there are no objections.
If there are no objections, then we will accept both the adoption of the January 2025 agenda and the adoption of the December 2024 minutes into our records. We have some announcements to make. The announcements are the Central Business District Tolling Program, congestion pricing is in effect as of January the 5th, 2025. And the Manhattan IDEP Assessment Center is accepting appointments to apply for the individual disability exemption plan. And applicants can now schedule an appointment at this center to determine if they are eligible for the exception. Enrolling into the IDEP is a two-step process. Applicants first need to establish eligibility and then use the eligibility to enroll in IDEP. To apply and learn more, applicants can visit mta.info/IDEP. Our second announcement is that the NYC DOT invites all New York City high school students in grades 9 through 12 to participate in the We're Working Here Work Zone Safety Billboard Design Competition. The design contest encourages students to develop public service announcements and remind the public to slow down and take caution in work zones. Application materials are available at www.nyc.gov/workzonesafety. The submission deadline is Friday, January the 17th, 2025, which is tomorrow, with the winning design to be featured on a large-scale billboard as part of the New York City's recognition of National Work Zone Awareness Week in April 2025. And a cash prize will be awarded to this student's school. That is tomorrow. The third is that Sergeant Tiffany Powell of Collaborative Policing Youth Strategy sends out an invitation, and she was our keynote speaker for our conference, for the launch of an 8-week middle school basketball tournament with 190 youth at Brandeis High School this Saturday, January the 18th, at 145th West 84th Street, New York, New York, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. All players must be registered with Saturday Night Lights to be eligible to play. The tournament is free for ages 14 years and under, and the winning team will receive a suite to watch an NBA game. And this is the flyer for it, and the flyer you can see within our notes. There is another announcement because there are just so many things that are happening. Another thing for children of all ages is that Silicon Harlem, excuse me, at 2785 Frederick Douglass Boulevard, is having a top 10 technologies event. They asked to be joined on January the 30th at 6 p.m. at Silicon Harlem for an exciting evening discussing the latest trends in technology. Discover the cutting edge technologies that will shape 2025 and beyond, from groundbreaking innovations to transformative opportunities. This meetup will unveil the trends defining the future of tech. Don't miss out this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and learn about the cutting edge innovations that are revolutionizing the tech world. And it is free. You just need to go on to Silicon Harlem's site, and it is something that you do have to register for, but it is a free event. So we have those announcements. And after that, let us move on to our informational updates. And do we have any city agency partners online?
No, our detective just left. So your 23rd precinct is out, and our 23rd precinct, Julius Cosme, they have a scheduled conference for an event that they're doing at this time, so I don't believe any of our NYPD partners are in the bus.
Okay. And the FDNY is, I do not see them here physically, but are they on virtually? Okay. And as he run away. So our NYC Department of Transportation representative. Say your name,
Excellent.
say your name,
Oh, Rafael, my name is Rafael Scano.
is present in person with us this evening.
Thank you. My name is Rafael Scano from the office of Manhattan Borough Admissions Office of Baker, Edward Baker. And I'm joined virtually by the Manhattan Commissioner, the Manhattan Borough Commissioner, Jennifer Sanz Inez, she's the deputy commissioner, right, Commissioner Pinker. I'm also joined virtually by the team from the bike team who's going to be presenting. And I'm going to go over the things that I thought of that would be helpful.
Sorry, real quick, is this gonna be the presentation or just your informational?
This is the presentation.
Oh,
No, we're doing
we're doing
informational
the
updates
informational
really quick.
updates.
Do you wanna just wait till we get, cause we'll just go through if we have the district attorney's office and other advocacy groups and.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
and
thought that you want me to
okay.
present.
Sorry.
No,
Not yet, yeah, sorry. right.
just informational updates. I apologize.
No, there is no information update from all point.
Okay, so
we'll go-
therefore we'll continue.
No, there is none.
Is there anyone from the district attorney's office that would like to give an informational update?
I have a question for the Department of Transportation, if I may.
Yes, go.
I'm just curious, what have been like the impacts of congestion pricing on traffic in Manhattan in like the week or so that it's been in effect?
I have no information about that. If I had it, I would have shared it with you, but I do not.
Okay, cool,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. So we'll move that along to the public safety transportation advocacy groups.
Groups, I don't think we have anybody here.
Okay, and so then we will continue moving forward with the committee outreach report. This was something that I had added so that we are going out into the community and making ourselves known by just saying, this is who we are. Do you have anything that you want us to bring back to the community about? I'm seeing some blank faces, so I know that I went to the tree lighting, making our presence known, went to REACT, which is more so an environmental group, but they have a lot of elected officials that they have for their first thing, and to speak with the New York Senator Cordell Clare, which is for District 30, and to talk about what's happening in our community and just get her viewpoints. Which is what I did on last Saturday. I spoke to people about the solar panels, just finding out what we could do in our community. Union Settlement, they had a skating on fake ice, an experience, and different festive things that were happening in our neighborhood, like the Grand Masters of Porquito tasting, which is cute, but it's also a way of finding out what's happening in our community and talking with people, and just getting out there is important. Right now, we have Carlos and Joel Jones at the Metropolitan Hospital, and Joel Jones at a toy drive. All this helps to show who we are. Let us move along to presentations and discussions, unless there were any hands up. Police?
There were no hands up.
And so now we move to our Department of Transportation presentation on the proposed street redesign of Third Avenue between 96th and 128th Street. And you now have the floor, Raphael.
Thank you. Again, my name is Rafael Escano. I am the Manhattan Borough Planner in the office of the Manhattan Borough Commissioner Edward Paycom. I am joined by a couple of people, actually two teams, that include the Deputy Commissioner from the Manhattan Borough Office, and also the bike team, which is going to be making the core of the presentation. And you have seen me many times here, and you have also listened to the presentation a couple of times. And after a thorough study of the improvement to Third Avenue from East 96th Street to East 128th Street, and having shared with you the existing conditions, as well as soliciting your feedback and listening to your concerns in previous conversations, we are ready to present the treatment in our toolkit that will improve the safety of all users, vehicles, and pedestrians on Third Avenue. I want to introduce the team that will be presenting the bicycle unit led by Rosie, Sean, and Craig. They will introduce themselves in detail when each takes the floor in the presentation. Jennifer, the Deputy Commissioner, will remain momentarily after the presentation in case you have any question for her. We request you hold question until the end of the presentation so we can address them all at once. Now I'll hand it off to Rosie for the bike team.
Hello, I'm just gonna share the presentation. Oh, I can't. Is it possible to stop sharing so I can? Okay, thank you. Okay, so as Raphael said, my name is Rosie Dowd. I'm here from the bike unit of DOT to present a complete streets redesign proposal on Third Avenue from 96th Street to 128th Street. So Third Avenue is a 70-foot roadway with 5 vehicular travel lanes. And it is shared by many different road users. So to get a sense of the breakdown of the different road users. We'll just show you a snapshot at 3rd Avenue and 116th Street. We saw over 1,000 average vehicles during peak hours and over 2,000 average pedestrians during peak hours. In addition, there were over 1,000 average weekday cyclists from the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's also a really important bus corridor. We have 17,000 average weekday riders on this section of the corridor, 150 plus buses along 3rd Avenue during peak period, but the speeds are as slow as 4.8 miles per hour. We also have an existing bike network around this area, as well as the both local and express bus routes that run along 3rd Avenue. There's an existing northbound protected bike lane on 1st Avenue, but it's at capacity. So it's really too crowded. And in 2023, we installed a dedicated bus lane and a protected bike lane from 59th to 96th Street on 3rd Avenue. And there's also a 3rd Avenue bridge that this project would connect to. The main reason that we're looking at this corridor is really for safety. It's a Vision Zero priority corridor, and it's ranked in the top 10% of Manhattan streets for people killed or seriously injured. In between 2019 and 2023, there were 5 pedestrian fatalities on this section of the corridor. So when we look at our safety toolkit, we do see that Complete Streets treatments not only increase bus speeds, but they also greatly improve safety. So for the section south of this, in 3rd Avenue from 59th to 96th Street, we saw a 14% increase in bus speeds during PM peak hour, an 8% reduction in traffic injuries, and a 50% reduction in pedestrian injuries. We see similar results wherever we study these treatments, including on Columbus Avenue and 125th Street. And one of the best tools that we have for road safety for all road users are protected bike lanes. And this is not just for cyclists. It actually most benefits pedestrians. So when we've studied 25 different corridors where we put in protected bike lanes, we saw that pedestrian injuries went down 21%. We did come to your board in June of 2024 to gather feedback on the existing street conditions. We heard concerns about speeding, double parking, unpredictable cyclist movements, weaving through traffic, unsatisfactory pedestrian conditions, as well as unsafe bus turns at 106, 116th, and 125th Street. We heard needs for improved safety for all road users, to keep traffic and buses moving, retain parking, and address pedestrian deficiencies. So again, the existing roadway, it has 5 travel lanes. There's no delineation for where a bus would go or where the bikes would go. So we do see bikes in all of the different lanes. We have substandard curb ramps at many intersections and speeding during off-peak hours. So we are proposing a parking protected bike lane and an offset bus lane. This design will retain, as much parking as can be with the safety improvements, and retain all the same bus stops, as well as calming traffic and improving safety. We also hope to improve bus speeds and operations, and to provide dedicated spaces so everyone knows where to expect to see cyclists. We heard concerns about traffic. We did collect traffic counts along the corridor, and our analysis shows that 3 travel lanes can accommodate existing peak period volumes. Where we really see the most crashes and the most injuries is at intersections, so we're paying really close attention to them. We're doing pedestrian upgrades, including improving the ramps at key intersections. And then we have two basic designs at the like busiest intersections with the highest left turning vehicles. We are proposing left turn lanes with their own dedicated signal time. This reuses about 4 to 5 parking spaces per block for the left turn lane, but it really helps with safety because both the pedestrians and the cyclists are not going at the same time as left turning vehicles. At intersections with lower left turning vehicle volumes, we're proposing the painted pedestrian islands. And what these do, they would repurpose 1 to 2 parking spaces per block, but the purpose of that is really to create clearer sight lines or daylight the intersections so that the turning vehicles and the cyclists and the pedestrians can all see each other. It also reduces pedestrian crossing distances as you can wait in the painted space. So I just want to address specifically how we're responding to the feedback we heard in our last meeting. In terms of concerns about congestion, again, we did do traffic analysis and we feel that we can accommodate peak volumes with 3 lanes of traffic. We are hoping to retain parking as much as possible, but the parking that we are removing really is safety critical. And we also are going to continue to monitor the corridor to study for loading zones where we can change parking regulations to make everything move more smoothly. In terms of unpredictable cyclist behavior, we think that this will increase predictability and reduce conflicts between motorists and cyclists. In terms of need for pedestrian improvements, our intersection improvements are really pedestrian heavy. And again, the protected bike lane is also a pedestrian treatment. And then we heard concerns about turning buses at 106, 116th, and 125th. These are intersections where we will have a left turn lane. And we also believe that the design and the timing changes so that they won't be going at the same time. And also the other design changes will slow turning vehicles and increase visibility. So to summarize, our main concern is improving safety for all road users on a Vision Zero priority corridor with these complete streets treatments, as well as reducing travel time for transit users. And we also hope to upgrade pedestrian infrastructure and still accommodate peak traffic volumes. Thank you.
Thank you. Wait, you had wanted to ask a question previously.
Yeah, I had one question about slide 3. I was just wondering if the photo was of 106th Street, but the information you were giving was for 116th Street. Is that should that information be for 106th Street or should that photo?
Yeah, no, that's just a photo that to include what the corridor looks like. We chose 116th because it's kind of like it's a busier intersection and it's kind of in the middle. So it was a good representation of the corridor as a whole. Just to give like an idea of what the traffic volumes are.
Yeah, okay, my only remaining concern is and I mentioned this in June with like the buses that have to make a left-hand turn. I guess it doesn't really make a difference compared to how things are now if there's a bus lane. But it feels more defined if like a bus is going to like remain in the bus lane until it's time to like cross 3 lanes of traffic to make a left-hand turn, such as on 106, 96 or 106, 116th or 125th Street. I just want you guys to like continue thinking about that. But I guess right now it's not good, so this works. I can't imagine it's gonna get worse than as it is right now.
Yeah, so again, I don't know if this was clear, these intersections in particular will have their own left turn signals. So they won't be going at the same time as pedestrians. So that will help with that. And then in turn, I guess the bus drivers know how to get, they already have to get to that lane. So I don't think that would really change much.
Thank you. Valerie?
No.
Right.
Are you seeing that?
No resident,
Pardon?
at least resident.
Okay, I just, as our rules and regulations go, the CB11 members of the committee speak first. And then everyone else. Yes, Valerie?
Is it my understanding that part of this presentation includes more city bikes on Third Avenue?
That's not part of our presentation. We don't put it.
The
Bike
bike lane would be on, the bus lane is on one side?
Yeah, so the
and
bus lane is on the east
side.
curb, or not the east curb, it's
The west side would have the bike. Can you show that, is there a picture of that?
So the bike lane would have two ways on the bike lane. And
No, the bike is only in one direction.
only one direction.
northbound.
The southern direction.
In the northern direction, in
Northern.
the northern direction, with the flow of traffic.
Yes,
The only one that has a two-way direction for the bikes is on First Avenue because of construction.
But then they want to add the little islands like they have on.
The daylighting would occur on the other side of the bike lane, so any sort of island for pedestrians would be on the western side of the bike lane.
Am I correct in like just summing it up by like it's gonna look like First Avenue looks, except that you're not gonna have two-way bike lanes?
it's similar design. I think this one might be a little bit wider, but it's gonna look how it does south on Third Avenue.
And Valerie, you would not,
I'm just trying to see it.
there's a diagram of it right there.
It's not really-
Is there, and on the top, there is a visual on the south side. You see the red paint and the pedestrian spot to stand in?
What do they call that little island between, let's say you come off the curb, there's the bike lane, and then there's that little island, and then the cars park here, and then you can cross the street. What is that little island?
That little island is like, can you say what the little island is called, that y'all call it?
Yeah, we call it a painted pedestrian island.
Okay,
And then cars park on one side.
and cars parked on the south part of
So
it.
the amount of traffic that now is going uptown will be diminished because of the bike lane, the little island, and the bus lane. So whose idea is it that this is a good idea?
Can I just nuance
repeat that
what you just
question?
said a little bit, that the bike, it would be more so funneled into 3 lanes, and so it will be tighter as opposed to,
They're taking up 3 lanes.
it's 3
The
lanes
bike lane,
instead of 5
island,
lanes.
and the park, that's 3 lanes.
They're taking up all those, and so only
And then on the other side is the bus, so now you only have 2 lanes for traffic,
3 lanes of traffic.
that includes the bus.
We make it safer for the pedestrians.
There's 3 lanes for just vehicular
Or-
traffic and a bus lane. The island is not in a lane. It might be in part of the parking lane. It wouldn't interfere with the travel lane.
Parking used to be next to the curb, so that's not true. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're pushing the parking out.
The parking is moved out, that is,
That is what I'm saying.
so the parking moves out and.
So if I get your cab, I'm gonna spend more time trying to get uptown than I did before. That's what I'm saying. It's not helping the people. is helping somebody, I don't know. I don't know, it's not us.
It's safer.
Safer,
Yeah, that's the whole purpose. This is, you know, this
So
data driven to
It's-
make it easier for the pedestrians.
the bus would be faster. The bikes. Is said that they would be in their bike lane, which I have not seen it in other parts of our area. These. Not necessarily on Third Avenue, but where there are bike lanes, I've seen them not be in the lane. Daylighting, I think is extremely important and does save lives. Having an island for pedestrians is really important for everyone's safety. Bikes, vehicles, buses, and the pedestrians. To my understanding, it has been to also slow down traffic. So not necessarily making the buses faster, but also slowing down traffic has been the motto of DOT.
That's correct.
And
Yeah, I
slowing
think
down. traffic.
slowing down like speeding vehicles. So when the streets are empty and there would be like more opportunity to speed, having the narrower roadway does reduce the speeding.
Does it increase the frustration of the drivers? So that they start driving recklessly, have you noticed?
Well, we do know that it makes it safer, so I mean, maybe, but it overall does make people drive safer.
Valerie,
No.
another question?
I disagree. You know, I remember when Fifth Avenue, two-way traffic when I was a kid.
Really?
All these avenues, Lexington, both ways on the way. So then they got the bright idea, probably the same, but before, oh, let's make it one way. And that'll solve the problem with traffic.
And
And
that,
that works. Well, because you always take something away from the public. Right now, you're taking away parking. With this idea.
it has alleviated.
I just painted tonight, and right here on 118th Street, there's a sign on the gate, monthly parking, $400 a month. This is what's going on.
Well, DOT
Okay,
has,
like we said,
DOT has nothing to do with that.
well, no, but it's because of all that's being
Right.
done.
Mhm.
All these new
Oh,
buildings
yeah.
that are going up, you're
Okay,
trying to
okay.
compensate all this rearrangement for these these fires up in the bottom. Not for the people who've been here all their life.
Well, this is done on behalf of.
No, not gonna be happens.
Well, I've lived in East Harlem all my life. I have an aunt that was hit by a bus on Third Avenue. And I think this is gonna make things safer for the people who live there.
Right.
Sorry to hear, Sue.
Okay, let's, hold on. I wanted to find out if the 2-3 and the 2-5 precincts have been informed, because there is angled parking on Third Avenue. And 3 cars at an angled park is the same as 1 car that would be parked in I guess a straight up and down sort of thing, the way that it's configured here. So 1 car minus 3 so 3 parking spaces would be lost for every 1 car that's able to be parked. And this is for our first responders, for the NYPD and the FDNY that are on Third Avenue. Have they been spoken to about where will they park? I mean, we need them in our area.
Yes, of course.
So
I
we
think
will, we come to the community board first, but that is just the beginning of our outreach process. So we do always coordinate with FDNY and NYPD. In terms of the parking, we looked up the parking regulations. Those aren't formal parking spaces with the angled parking. So we do know that it is going to present a challenge, but we will work with them and hope to find places where they can park their vehicles. But it's actually, yeah, the angled parking is not formal parking.
And Michelle, if I may, thanks, Rosie. I'm Jennifer Santinez. Good evening, everyone. I'm the Manhattan Deputy Borough Commissioner at New York City DOT. I'm here with the team. Certainly, we do coordinate with all of the impacted agencies for any of our proposals that is changing the geometry of the street. This one is, we're going to have some challenging blocks where, we do understand that there are agencies that utilize the space in a different way that we have it formally regulated. So we'll continue those conversations. And certainly, we're looking forward to hearing all of the feedback here tonight. So thank you.
Okay, I thought that they were gonna be informed prior to this meeting. And
Oh,
I
yes.
wanted
Oh,
to-
Michelle, sorry, just to clarify, we have had conversations with the agencies about the proposal, and we're continuing to work through their questions. But we're also coming to the board here as the first kind of step, or I guess building on our June meeting, which was the initial first step. Where this is ultimately, as Rosie said, like the first step of all of our general public outreach and engagement.
Okay, well, I am glad that you are coming to us and listening to our questions and responding. Valerie, you have a question?
No, I was gonna say, most of the angled parking on 102nd are the police officers.
Yes, that's,
Has been like this.
yes, the 102nd, 103rd, and there's a few blocks of angle parking.
Majority, is what everybody would understand because. Also.
Mhm. Yes,
That's not on the third avenue, is it?
yes, it is on
Yes,
the
yes.
Saturday.
You're gonna second of the first?
I'm in the second, I'm in the third.
Oh, yeah, that's the.
Yeah, this is the FDNY, this is the NYPD,
Exactly.
and yes, angle parking, yes.
So several people online have their hand raised. You have Wanda, you have Don Sanders, and then 3 members of the public.
Okay, so in this order, Wanda, then Dawn, and I'm sorry. Ryan. And then,
The other 3 members,
Yeah.
okay. Wanda, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Okay, so I have a few questions. Approximately how much parking space is going to be taken away from 128th Street?
On 128th Street in particular, you're asking? Or for
Third
the-
Avenue, yes,
Um,
because there's very little there as it is.
I would have to look at the drawing. I'm not sure specifically for that block.
Okay, also, is there going to be any enforcement for the bike riders?
Yeah, so we, as DOT, we don't have enforcement power, but we do work with the local precincts to enforce the traffic rules for both the cars and for the cyclists.
Okay, it's a school there.
Mhm.
That's my concern. It's
Yeah,
a
I know.
school right there, and if they're speeding, the vehicles are speeding, the bikes are speeding. That could be a potential big problem
Yeah, and
for the
we'll
residents.
reach out to the schools as part of our outreach process.
Okay, thank you.
Dawn? Wanda, are you finished? Do you have another question, Wanda?
No, not another question. Just some facts that the numbers of speeding is extremely high. It's thousands of people speeding every day. Just wanted to bring that out there. Okay. Now
Thank you,
I'm done.
Wanda.
You're welcome.
Dawn, you have the floor?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to just put it on the record, not really go back and forth, but I think this community board, I don't know who at the DOT was at the DOT in 2010 or 2011. We have a lot of unresolved benefits, and we have had a lot of false promises. And I understand that DOT has nothing to do with that, but I think if you exacerbate an issue, you should be responsible for what happens. So if you go back to 2011, we were told 20% of our parking was going to be taken away. We did our own count. 50% of the parking was taken away when we put the bus lanes and bike lanes on there. Emergency vehicles were slowed down. We can see the same types of slow response times as you have on 8th Avenue. That hasn't been resolved. The folks that are below 86th Street on 3rd Avenue have complaints that are unresolved. We were told asthma was going to improve. It has not improved. We were told buses were going to speed up on 1st and 2nd Avenues. That hasn't happened. We were told that only 4% of our residents use bike lanes. So 1,000 people, I think that's great, but I would like to know how many of those people live in this district. We were told that rideshare was a pilot and that rideshare was only going to take up, I don't know, 16 spots. Rideshare took up 32 spots and continues to take up unused spots. I think that at this point, we know that this is going to snarl traffic. I think the fact that people are afraid to be hit by buses is an MTA issue that you should take up with MTA as well. If the buses are not going to stay in the bus lanes, if they're not going to observe people in the crosswalk, that's something to address with them. When the bus and bike lanes first came in, we were guaranteed $200 a month parking. That has gone away. I think someone mentioned $400 and up is what you would pay for monthly parking. And now people in NYCHA have to pay for their parking. So it's just been, I think, 13 years of really unresolved issues that I don't even think you need to answer right now. I mean, the DOH has said that our health outcomes have not improved in the last 13 years. So we don't really have to get into that. But as the people who lived here start to become ill and sick, and then we can't, get out as much as we want to, you have to realize that we have like 13 years of nonsense, just one promise after another. And, we haven't seen the benefits that get brought up each time we are approached. So I'm just putting that on the record. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dawn. And was there a question inside of there? I think they're all comments.
Yes, I'm sorry. My question is, can you deliver back all of the rideshare parking that you took? Because as we explained, Get Around, and I don't even know if some of these still exist. They are not low cost rideshare, and they're taking up a lot of spots. And why don't you just start giving back some of those rideshare spots before you take any more parking?
Okay, is rideshare part of DOT?
Yes, the car share program, Michelle, is part of the Department of Transportation. It's not part of this presentation, but if there are problematic locations, Dawn and the board, we do look to you to guide us to those sites. We're not at the point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, but I just, we were told that it was a pilot for 2 months. It grew past 2 months. It's double the parking. And then it was made permanent without any feedback from us. And now it's just where people from New Jersey park because nobody's enforcing it anyway. So I think the West Side, the elected officials from the West Side had requested this rideshare spaces. I think they should take those on the west side, and I think you should give back the spaces that you've already taken that are not in use. But
Okay,
sorry to
thanks.
interrupt you.
I think that we will write that up and possibly we will transform those spaces into EV spaces. But that will be our next topic. So Don, I'm glad that you brought that up. And we'll write it down, but at this present time, we are gonna continue with the topic at hand.
Oh, thank you,
Ryan?
Chair. So I'm against this plan, I guess. If I can go back on topic, I'm against this plan. Sorry. I don't have a
Thank-
question about the plan. I have too many questions.
Okay, thank you, Don. Ryan?
Hi, first time
So
coming.
your first and last
Sure.
name, please.
My name is Ryan Paulson. I live literally across the street. I came here today even following a surgery I had today because this is something I feel so incredibly important about. Because my two toddlers, 2 and 4 years old, have lived in this neighborhood their entire lives. Go to daycare, Sunshine of 3rd Avenue, 120th 3rd Ave. Every single day, I'm walking my children across 3rd Avenue where, as we mentioned, 1,000 cars every day are speeding. Absolutely none of them are stopping at the stop line for red lights. Getting 2 toddlers across a 7-lane road in the 40 seconds of the red light is near impossible. And especially with undaylighted intersections for free parking. It's just, every single time, even the first block I'm crossing 120th to before I cross 3rd Avenue. A car's flying up and comes to turn, and thank God they've stopped every single time so far. But it's a blind turn because cars are allowed to park right up to the intersection. Sometimes they even park in the intersection. And so this is something that I am very much for, because it is my children. And it is the safety of my children. And looking at the data here, 17,000 people use the bus lane. 1,000 cars drive, and the vast majority of them are just doing so to go to the bridges north to go home for free. I mean, through our neighborhood. And we're not even gonna see a reduction in driving space because 5 lanes is not necessary for the amount of cars that are coming through. A lot of it is coming down to poor design that's just letting them spread out. We've got double parking and things like that. And I really am here to support this plan. When I first heard about it south of 96th Street, only to then hear it was only to 96th Street was crushing to me. Like, that it should have been from the beginning completely through the neighborhood. And when it comes to free street parking, I know some people like having their cars, but that is a super tiny minority of this district. And when it comes down to it, we should be putting safety first over. It's lovely that people get to park their cars for free, but where else does that exist in the world? So yes, I definitely wanted to come here to talk about the real world immediate impact that a program like this will have. Saving the lives of toddlers just trying to get home from daycare. I do personally take my children out on a bicycle in a trailer. Often I live on Madison Avenue. I generally go slightly west from here when it comes to cycling. Go to the park. I use the 5th Avenue lane often. I like that the 5th Avenue lane there is great, but it doesn't connect to anything. So I guess, I know this is a questions part to form a question. When we finally make the necessary changes to improve the safety of those of us living in this neighborhood, what other changes are we considering to making the connecting road safer too? I know 119 and 120 have painted, bike lanes. Honestly, a painted bike lane is not a real thing. It's not necessarily any safer. When you could just shift parking out a few feet. And now you have at least a parking protected bike lane. And there's so much parking available already on all of our cross streets. That we're talking of, 3 to 6 free parking spaces on a North-South Avenue. North-South Avenues in this island are for moving cars. If we're gonna be serious, that is the way that the traffic flows up and down the island. East-west is residential, there's so much parking already. And, just like the rest of us, I work in New Rochelle, I get on the Metro North every day. The police and the firemen, they can get on the same trains that everybody else does. And they do a wonderful job helping our neighborhoods, and they're an important part of our community. But they are a part of our community is predominantly using public transportation. They should have stopped. So yes, my question, and because of the surgery, I'm starting to get a lot of pain. I'm gonna leave after this. And I thank you guys all for your time and for this. Is in regards to the connectors, there's kind of consideration for that. Earlier, one thing that you were mentioning, I think you were talking about the buses coming from the right lane, having to make a left turn going across. Maybe for 116th, 125th, 106, maybe we're adding a delayed red green light so that a bus doesn't have to merge across. The bus gets a green light first, that they have the entirety of the roadway to make that safe left turn.
Signaling would be considered. So
Yeah.
And they do have some of that in some areas where there's a specific light just for the bus.
Yeah, it's not just
That's a good
what you
idea.
were saying, yeah.
Mhm.
But yes, is there any thought yet, changing like 119th, 120th Street?
Rosie?
We don't have like immediate plans to upgrade those, but if you, we can consider it if you want to also reach out to us. One thing to consider though is that with upgrading from standard to protected, we need a little bit more space for the door zone. So I'm not sure specifically if those ones we would be able to do without removing parking. But we can look into it.
I appreciate it. That question was more just to make a question. I thank you all again.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your
Thank
card.
you. And also, we have also agreed on the importance of daylighting within this committee. So having those pedestrian islands and shoulder, those are already part of what we want. Because we
Yes.
want safety. Daylighting is so important. And to people that are online that do not know what daylighting is just so that the vision of the pedestrian as well as bicycle and vehicle, everyone can see each other. And it would be like protrusions into the street for pedestrians. And that's it.
Wonderful. Yeah, I've been in this community for 10 years now. Our list is 4. The single thing that scares me the most about this community is the cars. And, I know other people have other issues and they are certainly valid. The thing that scares me the most is my kids getting out of my hand and running into a roadway, because the people fly and we live right on Madison Avenue. I've watched cars fly by every day. I watch hours and hours of traffic every time there's a marathon. And I thank you for bringing these important projects.
Thank you.
Thank
Be
you.
safe,
Thank you.
be well, and take some painkillers.
Hopefully not. I'm trying to avoid that.
Okay. I'm sorry, but there's 3 other people ahead of you.
We have 4 individuals now who've raised their hands. So we have Paul Crickler, Rex Ty, Barack Friedman, and Helmut Carter.
Who the first 3 and then.
So we'll take the first 3, okay, and then Emily Jacobs. So we'll take the first 3, Paul Crickler, Rex Ty, Barack Friedman, then this gentleman here, followed by Helmut Carter and Emily Jacoby.
In that order.
In that order. All right, Paul Crickler, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, CB11, and thank you very much, DOT. I'm hugely in favor of this proposal you have. I've lived through Third Avenue before and after the change. First of all, for the traffic, routinely, I knew this when I drove on Third Avenue, routinely in the 90s, because there were 5 lanes of traffic, cars would zoom off to even 50 and 60 miles an hour routinely. So that has been tamed because there are less lanes. There's less tendency to fly off. For that reason alone, I think it's a major win. But for me, the real win was the bike lane. And there are 3 features I'd like to ask you about or have a quick comment about. I'll do them one by one real quick. The first one is the width. You said that this follows the plan of the rest of Third Avenue. I hope that means, and I assume it means 10 feet because it's fantastic. It's a completely different experience with a 10-foot bike lane compared to a 6-foot lane. Secondly, on the left lanes and the offset crossings, I'm absolutely in favor of this part of your plan hugely. When I ride my bike on Third Avenue, it feels hugely different. It's so unsafe on Second and First Avenues, even with a protected bike lane, when cars are mixing with you. I won't let my kids, who are now 17 years old, ride on that bike lane, even though it's called a protected lane. But Third Avenue feels so much safer with the offset crossings when the cars slow down. So on that point, my question is, can you please retrofit First and Second Avenue? Then my final point is these islands. Please, 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 please do not have painted islands. They are useless. They're unsafe. You go to any of the islands on Third Avenue already. Most of the flexi posts are either bent over or completely obliterated and gone. I think it's a very, very small change you can make to completely upgrade the safety dramatically. I think the painted islands are a very meaningful weakness in what's otherwise a wonderful plan, Third Avenue that we have already. So again, my 3 things were, please, the width, the offset crossings on First and Second, and the painted lanes, islands. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, it will be the wider lane here. So it's gonna follow that model.
Thank you very much.
The painted pet, yeah. So with the painted pet islands, actually, we do have other ways that we are hardening the daylighted area. So I think, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have like the bike sleds as well as quick curb there to try to make sure that people are not parking in the daylit area.
But there's still lots on Third Avenue which don't have anything in there like that, no treatment at all. So the ones that are safe, oddly enough, First and Second, they're concrete. So
yeah, okay. So the concrete question, we unfortunately just don't have the resources to do them all in concrete, but we are gonna see if there are any that we can do in concrete, and hopefully one day.
Thank you. And I hope one day you could do First and Second retrofit for a dramatic improvement in safety, the offset crossings. It's meaningfully different. So thank you, DOT.
Yes, thank you, Paul, for your support. Sorry, Michelle, if I may just add, Paul, last summer, we did widen the bike lanes along Second Avenue from Houston to 59th Street, or begin that change. And so we're slowly making some of those improvements, but noted on your call for both First and Second.
Thank you. It's all wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, and I just wanted to add that with what we had agreed with daylighting, we did want like some sort of plan or some sort of structure within the pedestrian area to make it not only visually pleasant, but to increase the safety of that spot.
Yeah.
Next person.
Yes, Rex Ty.
Rex, you'll have the floor.
Hello, hi. Can you hear me? I get some.
Yes.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Rex Tai. I am a physician working at Henry J. Carter Hospital in CB11 on the corner of 122nd and Park. I, as a hospitalist, care disproportionately for patients who have been hit by motor vehicle crashes. And my patients are the stories you never hear about. Like we all lament the gruesome deaths that come from people being hit by speeding cars. But there are a lot of people that survive but experience a fate, in some cases, like comparable, if not worse than death. A lot of these people are on ventilators and will never be able to come off of them again. They'll never be able to walk again. They'll never be able to leave my hospital again. And we know, as a point of racial equity, or inequity rather, the bike lane distribution in Upper Manhattan pales in comparison to the rest of Manhattan, and also the number of crashes are a lot higher for the Black and brown residents of the district. I can see there are widely available statistics showing that CB11 has higher traffic injuries and traffic deaths than the rest of the city. In addition to all the other health inequities that I personally try not to contribute to, I choose to bike to work from where I live in Harlem because I don't want to contribute to more injuries and asthma amongst my neighbors. So in any case, I want to voice my steadfast support of this program because I don't want more of CB11 and all other uptown Black and brown residents becoming my patients in the hospital. Like a few parking spaces is not worth their lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rex.
There was one more before. Emily?
We have Barack Friedman, go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, CB11, for allowing me to speak. I live south of 96th Street, and so I just wanted to tell you the experience with the 3rd Avenue redesign from 59th to 96th, because it seems very similar. Like at first, it looked the same, like there was just 7 lanes of kind of just nothingness and car lanes. And then this design went in with the wide bike lane and the bus lane. And I just wanted to tell you that the people love it on the Upper East Side. And just for cyclists, obviously, it's safer. There was very few people cycling on 3rd Avenue because, you know, it's very dangerous. And for the bus riders, tens of thousands of bus riders, it, you know, speeds up the bus. So that was great. But the best benefit is for the people who live there and the pedestrians. You know, it's quieter. The crossing distance is shorter. So you can see once you get to the pedestrian island, it's safer for senior citizens to cross the road. So it's really nice. Everybody loves it. It's just quieter and calmer. It's great for pedestrians. And as far as I know, there was concern about 5 lanes of traffic, but there's going to be 3 lanes on the Upper East Side feeding into the 3 lanes in Harlem. So, you know, I think that's going to work. So I know I hear skepticism on the board, which I understand, but I can tell you that it was extremely well received south of 96th Street. So thank you, CB11, for allowing me to speak, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barack.
And can you say your name?
To Eric Marler. So actually I live right outside CB11 in CB10, but working in down east, so I commute through the community board basically every day. And also morning, evening, also my kids do soccer practice on Jefferson Park, so I'm here all the time. I just wanted to say that I experienced 1st and 2nd Avenue. I've experienced the new 3rd Avenue down on 96. It's so much better. Yeah, very nice. 3rd Avenue, 59 to 96. The feeling is so different since the design, since the bus lane, since the bike lane. It's really huge improvements. Much better than 1st and 2nd as bikes are concerned. So we really strong support of the plan. I wanted to exactly make the exact same point as one of the other speakers prior made. DOT already answered the width of the bike lane. I think it's important and helpful. And I also wanted to make the same appeal. It's more concrete protected pedestrian islands. In my experience, with 3rd Avenue is similar to what the other speaker was mentioning. Unfortunately, the painted pedestrian island, not always that safe. We see a lot of cars taking high-speed turn across the island. The flex cross that are very often are not enough to slow them down. So I would really love to see more concrete protected pedestrian islands. It's also protect pedestrians from bikes, because then bikes cannot cross those islands. So I would really love to see more of that, more hardened pedestrian island along the corridor to make it really safer for pedestrians while they are walking on the island to cross the rest of the island. That would be a huge boost compared to the design below 96. That would be not so much a question, but an appeal.
Okay, thank you. And there was two other people.
Carter, go ahead.
Thank you all. The DOT is doing the right thing to increase safety, convenience, and throughput for all road users. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Anna, much appreciated. And then Emily Jacoby, 1 second.
I thought there was a person named Emily that was.
Yes, Emily Jacoby, go ahead.
Oh, Emily Jacoby.
Hi there. Thank you, Community Board 11, and to DOT for this presentation. My name is Emily Jacoby. I am the Manhattan organizer with Transportation Alternatives. And what we've seen, I think the most pronounced success with the results of Third Avenue a little bit lower with the bike lane implementation in the Upper East Side is that ease of pedestrian movement flow and those feelings of safety crossing the street, boarding the bus. You can trust that the bus moves. I think the benefits have been very well explained tonight. And I just wanted to offer the community board a resource that TA put together about 1.5 years ago called Spatial Equity. And this is a toolkit that allows us to actually look and map correlating comorbidities that we see pop up, not just in New York City, but nationwide. And one of the deepest ones is the correlation between asthma and traffic violence. We would love to be in a longer conversation with this community board about all of the ways to solve those two issues. And no promises that a couple, blocks of bike lane and pedestrianization can fix everything, but we do believe this does something, and something very significant. So I would love to keep that conversation and dialogue alive with this community board, because I really hear your comments and concerns. And I just want to thank DOT for this presentation and for everyone speaking tonight and sharing their thoughts and concerns about the project.
Thank you, Emily. You can give us your information and we will invite you to make a formal in-depth presentation at another time.
Further access.
What did it say your name, please?
My name is Thomas Proctor. I live on 116th and 5th. Actually, the other side of this. A lot of people have been talking about safety, CP, in an abstract manner. Put a little bit of, sorry. I can face this. 5 years ago, my brother Charlie was traveling through an intersection that had a similar street width to what we see for that right now. Was hit by a speeding driver. It's just 2 weeks before his 28th birthday. He had just signed a lease to move in with his girlfriend. Instead, he died in her arms. Hope that can remember that there is incredible value to the lives of our neighbors here, and that is taken into account in our decision making. Mentioned Ron. Better.
Thank you. What year was that?
In 2020.
24. 4 years ago. Let's give it
Yeah.
And this is important because the study that's been done by DOT is data driven. So this is all based on that. So
I did
A
have,
life is important.
I'm so sorry.
Every life is important.
your brothers is part of this, the statistical data. That's the reason why DOT is really moving forward, making sure that it is done. So things like it happened to your brother, did not happen to any of us. It's also for you.
You said, did you have a question?
I also had one question, you mentioned two different intersection treatments, one with a signal left turn lane. And I guess the other is more similar to what we're seeing again. Have you decided which intersections would get which treatment? This is
Yeah,
maybe
so
reserved-
we think that the left turn lanes will be at 96, 106, 116th, and 125th.
However, if there is another space that we feel needs that, we can
Yes.
request it. You feel that there's another place?
That sounds is important to me. Sorry.
Because right now we are in conversation of what's gonna be happening on Third Avenue. So these suggestions, this conversation is all about nuancing what we can to make it as safe for East Harlem as we can. Okay? Are you finished? You get your question?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story.
There are no further answers.
There's no one else?
Online, there are no hands.
Okay, you may go.
If I may just add another
But can you please say your name again?
Eric Murdoch. So if I may just add another question, so just to confirm, so it's either gonna be left turn lane or offset crossing, no merging zones at all from 96 to 128.
Correct.
Okay. So without any other questions, we have a lot of homework on both sides to do. I'm glad that you are here in person and online and listening, and I know that you've also heard us. When is this proposed to happen, or are we still in the development stage, or is it just gonna just appear one day?
Rose?
We're hoping to do it this year. Exactly when, it's still too early to say just because we don't really quite have the implementation schedule yet. But we are hoping to do it this year. And there will be we will reach out. It's not just gonna appear one day. There'll be flyers and stuff. So.
Certainly, and
there-
Michelle, I know you and Raphael are in touch. He'll continue to keep the board posted on timelines, but we do look to, the committee to share your thoughts and send us any additional questions or comments that if you'd like to compile those, and we'll continue to stay connected on this proposal.
I would like to make suggestions for a delayed time of, for crossing the streets for traffic lights at every school location in our area.
You're talking about leading pedestrian intervals?
Yes.
Okay.
Because as the individual Ryan just said earlier, toddlers take a lot longer to cross the street and they need to get to school. It just makes sense to have that delay for the traffic lights at every school, building, corner.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, thank you for your presentation. And we'll keep in contact.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so I know as we go further in our agenda, you're not off the hook yet. There is a discussion on proposed expansion of NYCDOT's network of curbside electric vehicle chargers. The DOT has identified potential locations for new charger implementations and is soliciting feedback on these proposed locations and seeking suggestions on additional sites for consideration. I know we are tired, but
This was the letter that was sent.
this was the letter that was sent.
To you,
Mhm.
in order to get the feedback on some of the items in that particular list.
And
But it's not something that.
it's not crucial, it's not something that needs to be done today. However, I just want people to take note of it, and suggestions have been made to those spaces that are for the share ride, to subtract at least one of those spaces and have them as EVs charging spaces.
Well, the share ride, although it's a pilot, is still active.
But a lot of share ride
So
cars are in those spots.
right, it will help. They will communicate with, is that Dawn who brought it up? Okay.
And it's up on our,
To kind of, put it down on paper and send it to me as a suggestion.
as a formal suggestion.
Like she said, she indicated that there are some spaces that are being taken by New York City drivers. So there is no enforcement, and therefore people take it. Because those spaces are already designated for the share riders.
Cause I see the ones that are up there on 130th, 127th, 121st, 109th, 102nd, and 104, and 103rd.
This is for the refuel, I mean, the refueling, the
EVs.
the charging.
This is the EV list that was
Right,
sent out.
exactly. So,
However, what was suggested, instead of this out, the EV stations can just be where those. Cause it's usually 2 or 3 car lengths for these rideshare cars that are not all taken.
right, so
So if one of them is taken for like, cause I know like scooters. And car, so it'd be a few vehicles that are gonna be charging, so it's not necessarily another free parking space. But a space that's gonna be temporary. You think?
So my suggestion would be to have those locations and compare it to the potential location here and see if there is any kind of negotiating to take this one instead of the other one. So, I mean, this letter is to kind of elicit your feedback.
Okay, so we will take this up a little bit further.
Yes, of course.
But that is our initial suggestion.
Right.
Via a few people.
I'm going back to my introductory remarks. I usually, when I say my name, and then going out of the commissioner's office, I always forget to say that I am responsible for this district, CB11 district.
Okay.
So I want that for, like, I can, I always think that it's understood, but it is not.
It is not
It's
understood.
not understood. So for those who don't know, okay, I am responsible for the CB11 district, and I'm also going to be responsible for the CB8 district. So they're giving me more responsibilities.
Just as long as you don't water yourself down too much for our districts.
No.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yes,
Thank you.
and thank you. So with that in note, we're gonna move further
There
along.
is no more.
No, you're off the hook now,
Okay.
for just now.
Is there anything else related to?
No, we're going now into old business.
You wanna leave?
Oh, wait a minute. This is an update.
Oh, really?
Yes. For the 117th Street pedestrian lane.
Oh,
Okay. And I wish I could have done that while my colleagues were virtual. April is gonna be the month that I hope and I'm pushing to have the planters located there as originally planned.
So we're going back to the original design.
Yes, yes, and that is something that is appropriately, you know, beneficial for the area. I'm just saying, but it's taking a long time.
Okay,
I want to make sure that I complete that project, which has not been completed.
it's been years.
I think it's since 2021, right?
And this is 117th and Pleasant, where the mall is.
Where the mall is,
Right, where
for
the mall is,
pedestrian
right,
safety, for, yeah.
So I was given an update because I always request an update when I'm coming here.
Thank you, because the other thing wasn't working.
Right. So that will be done in April.
Thank you. Well, when I see it, I will,
Oh, absolutely. We have to
I'll be very happy. We have to celebrate. Thank you for the updates. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
Okay, thank you. And so now we're going to go for old business. Now you may leave if you wish.
But I just want to ask a question if I may. What intersection is the?
I should declare, my brother was actually living upstate in Boston.
Okay. So Raphael, can you give his part and then we can have a conversation afterwards? But right now we're going to go into old business and the extended discussion proposal discover of reforms. Changes. We're going to be voting on it as a committee. The reforms that were proposed by the district attorney's office are recommendations. And the recommendations were requiring prejudice before dismissing a case for discovery non-compliance, requiring the defense attorney to challenge discovery violations within a timely manner, and imposing a substantial compliance requirement. These were all recommendations, but they were recommendations that would not be necessary if funding was provided to the district attorney's office for felonies and things that have gone into misdemeanors due to funding. We're voting on this at the present moment because of.
I'm sorry, Michelle.
We lost?
Clyde Perez is not here anymore, so we lost one effectively. Yeah.
Can you call it?
You know, cause sometimes that, you know, sometimes I have problems with that communication, like I'm there, but you guys don't see it.
So,
No, she's not here, and
Oh,
it's internet it's probably her internet connection, and
So just-
we could wait for her to get back on if you can get in contact with her, but you cannot hold a vote for that if you don't have one.
or discuss it, so let's just. Pardon?
They will lose.
No, funny guy, but use the one on the other side of that.
She didn't answer, I just called. Trying to different. No. Hey, Claudia? 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 Hey, can you hear me? This is Sage from CB11M.
Hello, due to quorum being lost, we will have to stop the meeting due to our bylaws. And we will have a emergency meeting on the 27th of January instead to vote on what we had started on, which is the District Attorney of New York's recommendations, yea or nay. So at this time, we will stop this meeting.
I see Samuel Moore does have a question. I know Samuel's here for, so I'll just allow him to speak really quick. Sam, can you hear us?
Yes,
Sam, who?
good evening, how are you?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Moore. We actually have to adjourn this meeting since we lost quorum, but if you have a question, go ahead, please.
I was just wondering, when we reconvene the meeting, are we gonna put this on the agenda or how does it work? I'm just being patient.
Are you referring to your street code naming requests? The previous one regarding Denise McCormack? So I'll have to have that discussion properly with the committee chair, seeing as I had explained to you already that that item was brought before the full board back in October, and the committee and the full board had already agreed upon its decision to not support the application. So in terms of submitting an appeal for it, I'll have the discussion with Michelle and then advise you. So we'll keep in touch between now and the next committee meeting date, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Wanda, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Say that again?
I'm still here.
Yes, but we still don't have another member that's here and that killed our quorum, okay? So.
Okay,
we
I
have to-
understand.
Right, so we have to adjourn the meeting at this time.
Okay,
We will
thank you.
convene on the 27th of January for emergency meeting because a vote needs to be taken before the District Needs of New York meets in Albany.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is the 27th is,
On Monday.
And Monday.
but that's after the full board meeting.
Before.
Okay, it's before a full board?
Yes, the full board is for the 20th.
Okay.
Because we need to vote on something that needs money from Albany. I mean, that's the whole point of it. If we get the money, we don't need to make the reservation.
I hope people are available on the 27th.
Well, that's the only time that's available at this particular time, right?
Callie Conliffe from Legal Aid Society was also in attendance and would have been available to field any questions or provide input. So Callie, sorry about that. And
Thank you, Callie. I appreciate it, but due to lack of quorum, we are not able to move forward with the vote.
And no worries. And thank you for letting me know you were having the meeting. I'm happy to join on the 27th if it would be helpful.
Yes, it would be. I just wanted to make sure that you knew what day that we were meeting due to this matter.
Yeah, understood. Thanks.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say for the 27th, we consider extending, not being present, but available via the Zoom.
If you have a disability at that point and you've filled out the form.
No, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about anybody. But they just say, you like say, okay, you know, I remember one time Javier said, I don't care how you get here, it's remote or what, just.
So
Make sure that it's
so
covered.
before you implicate yourself.
Not me, I'm not talking.
No, but I'm just saying, only individuals that have a disability that have filled out the form in 2025 are able to vote virtually and be part of quorum.
Yes. And you have
If
to
you
fill.
do not have that.
I think arthritis is a
I'm
qualifying.
saying somebody who's ill, why not
It's-
disabled,
If they're ill, that is considered,
but can they still vote on this?
if they've filled out the form.
As long as you fill out the form, we're only taking it in good faith that you are filling out this form because you are genuinely unable to attend in person. But you want to contribute to quorum.
Just.
There's a
And
temporary,
we're not even asking that, we don't, we're.
there's something that's a
Get the
temporary
laws,
one for
Oh, I
the.
got it.
We're not asking you to divulge what's going on with you or anything, we're just saying if you cannot participate in person due to something that is inhibiting you, and disability. We're not asking for that,
Illness
we're
or
not asking for that
anything.
information, we just need to know that you can attend, but you still want to participate and contribute to the forum and the vote for an item, okay? So don't implicate yourself, don't implicate us, okay? Let's bring, okay, understood.
Okay, on that note,
Let me,
have we adjourned?
you know what, yes, let's call the adjournment.
We're adjourning at 8:45. The public safety and transportation meeting is now called.
Okay, everybody have a good night.
Have a good night and happy new year.
Thank you.